Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is a wonderful animal spirit message for the giraffe animal totem. And for some reason, just thinking about giraffes like eating and peacefully chomping away at the leaves and the vegetation at the top of the trees, it just relaxes me. So I wanted to share some of that energy with you guys today. And we're going to talk about the giraffe spirit and that peaceful, easy feeling. It's also super cool, like some of the lore around giraffes and history and things. So I'll talk a little bit about that at the beginning of the reading. If you just want to skip straight to your message, you can do that as well. And I'll go through the piles real quick in case you want to do that. But for those of you that would like to hear a little bit more of my intro, you can stick around for that after this. So for pile number 1, we have the bananas. For pile number 2, we have the grapes. And for pile number 3, we have the orange. So I'm going to go ahead and take the piles and put them aside. I don't know why it felt like I was just been eating lasagna. I have not been eating lasagna. Maybe somebody was eating lasagna because all of a sudden it's like I taste it in my mouth, which is very weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the reading, okay? And I'm going to start out talking a little bit first, like I said. And so one thing about giraffes is giraffes are graceful, quiet, thoughtful. They're not in a hurry, and they like to see the big picture vision of things. And to me, that kind of reminds me of the planet Jupiter. Very generous, very like open-minded, very thoughtful, very like big picture, wanting to be very graceful and in one's mannerisms. Okay, so just kind of right off the bat, I was thinking, what planet may kind of correspond to that? But also, it's very easy with giraffes for them to sense what is coming because they have that vision and they have that ability to see far out. And giraffes, of course, are super tall and have really, really long necks. And that may result in like sticking one's neck out for others. And because giraffes have such like a lofty vision above others, it may also result in someone's, if we're thinking about like an animal totem, about somebody's intellect not being understood by the people around them, okay? But giraffes have this amazing ability to win honor, respect, and gratitude and keep their head held high no matter what. And giraffes are some of the strongest and largest mammals out there, and a giraffe's kick can take out a lion in an instant. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a video of a giraffe kicking, but it is pretty interesting. Their kick is super powerful. I think it delivers a force of like 2,000 pound force of a kick. And but giraffes only kick and lash out like that when they're frightened or they feel like they're being threatened, because they're a very, just very graceful, quiet, and thoughtful creature most of the time. And giraffes, of course, are mainly in Africa. They don't hunt other animals for food. They are herbivores. And it's funny because like some of the interesting lore around giraffes are that the other animals, it is said that they were one of the last animals created, because a giraffe is like a combination of like a leopard and a camel, which is kind of interesting because they have spots on them which help those dark spots. The unique pattern that they have on their body is very similar to a leopard, but those dark spots kind of like absorb the heat of the sun. And also, they're very much like a camel in the sense that they don't have to drink very much. They may go 3 weeks without even drinking any water whatsoever, because it's very hard for them to bend down to get their neck all the way down there to take a drink. So most of the time, the the moisture that's in the, or the leaves and the things like that that they're eating are good enough for them to survive on. So they're like a leopard and a cross between a leopard and a camel that evolved with a really super long neck. Very interesting. And it said that the giraffe was not immediately given a sense of purpose, and that led to strife until they were able to reach for food for other animals and reach their long necks up to get food to help others survive, or to help each other survive. And so that comes with the whole idea of kind of sticking one's neck out for others, or putting one's needs before putting others' needs before your own, which kind of gave the giraffe a sense of purpose. And giraffes obviously are super rare and unique, and even their spots on their coat are unique as well. And so with giraffe, we can talk about, tall, elegant, and noble, and then also rare and unique gifts, okay? If a giraffe shows up in your dreams, it could mean big possibilities. It could mean a lot of personal growth for you. It could be that your intuition is increasing. Giraffes are the tallest mammals, and they can run up to 35 miles per hour, and their neck can't all the way reach the ground. Giraffes also sleep standing up and give birth standing up. They actually only need about 5 to 30 minutes of sleep in a 24-hour period as well. So very unique animals. They have a 26 or 20 pound heart. And so they have a big heart. They only have one heart. They have a big heart. And they have very high blood pressures so their blood can reach up to the top of their head and through their neck. Another thing that I thought was very interesting about giraffes is that the thorns, when they're eating the vegetation off of the top of the trees, they use their tongue to kind of like wrap it around the leaves, and the thorns on those leaves don't bother the giraffe. So that's another interesting totem kind of idea, that we can go about our days productively, doing what we need to do. Things come up that are uncomfortable, or things come up that aren't really, that we might not necessarily like, but there is a way to kind of like work around it, or there is a way to, I don't want to say ignore it, but just kind of keep doing what you need to do, okay? And I like that idea because the thorns are not bothering the giraffe at all. Giraffes can weigh up to 1,700 pounds, or around 1,700 pounds. And as I mentioned before, they have a plant-based diet. And so what we're gonna go ahead and do, also I just wanted to say giraffes stay standing a lot because they can see out around them in the desert, and basically it helps them see like what predators are coming or who might be approaching. And so they're very alert to predators, so they often don't sit down. Like, you won't see giraffes sitting down that much. Mostly they like to stand and kind of look around and have that 360 degree, have that, vision around them, okay? And so I'm gonna go through each pile, and we're gonna talk about certain questions that we can ask Giraffe Spirit today. And some of those questions are going to be, where can you use less force and save more energy in your life? Where is Spirit holding you in high honor and away from predators? Okay. What rare, unique talents should you show off now or use to accomplish your goals? Where do you need to set your goals higher? In what area of life, such as health, money, romance, or work? And where do you need to be less bothered and more grounded, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and look at all these, and then we'll get a general message as well for each pile. And yeah, I just think giraffes are pretty cool creatures. And if you agree, you can leave me a comment below. But let's go ahead and get into the reading. Okay, let's do it. Pile number one, welcome to your reading. You chose the bananas. In today's reading, we're getting messages from Giraffe Spirit for you, pile number one. And if you're interested about what that totem is about or what it means, you can listen to my intro. I give you guys some facts there. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to do the oracle first, and then we'll look at your tarot, all right? So Giraffe Spirit for my pile number one, spirits, angels, and guides. Please connect me to the energy for pile number one. Ooh, the Nine of Pentacles. Time to, I love the Nine of Pentacles because she is unbothered and she's busy, and she's got a lot going on, but she also sees this very clear vision for how she wants things to be. And I'm saying she because I see a she on this card, but anyway, let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards, then we will do the tarot, okay? So we have healer. Oh my goodness. Pile number one, we have quincunx and complexity. Okay, this card's been coming up a lot in a lot of my readings, talking about where things become more complicated than they need to be, or where things have become almost like a knot or have become knotted up because of their difficulty or perceived difficulty, okay? And as I mentioned in the intro, when a giraffe is eating, its tongue wraps around the leaves at the top of the tree and the thorns don't bother it at all. So it just kind of keeps munching away. So interesting you guys have quincunx, because quincunx in astrology is a very challenging energy. And you're a healer here as well, pile number one. So Giraffe Spirit already talking about your gifts and your unique talents. I feel some of you are very like specialized healers, or you are able to help out in situations that are very complicated. And when I say specialized healers, some of you here could be like spiritual healers. I'm also seeing people who have a very complicated job or have a very intricate job to do. And healers can be, everyone can be a healer in their work or their hobbies, right? Because if you have a way of uplifting other people or making their day better, even like beautician, a hairstylist is a healer, because you make people feel amazing about themselves, and you make people feel like they are a new person and that they can take on the world. And some people come in and they want really complicated things, and only you could pull it off. And I'm just using an example there, but of just how I feel how much talent you have, pile number one, but you may also get in your way a little bit too, and make things a little bit harder for yourself than they need to be. But I feel like, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Pile number one, right? If something is overly complicated, or if something needs fixing, or if a situation needs fixing, it's like, pile number one can take care of things for sure. Pile number one is a person that you can count on, okay? We have here annoyed. Oh boy. You guys, voicing your frustrations will provide you with an opportunity to explain the situation in a different way, which could be the very answer that they're looking for, okay? And so some of you may be very annoyed in your work or with friends, or just very annoyed trying to explain yourself or to explain something that you're doing. And yeah, so this talks about voicing your frustrations, which could actually end up helping the situation, and could make things easier, okay? So one of the questions we talked about with Giraffe Spirit is like where can you use less force and save more energy, okay? So perhaps some of you have been dealing with people who've been very annoyed at you lately, or perhaps you've been dealing with people that have been very annoying to you, okay? So, working on being, what do they say, unbothered or whatever, not letting things get under your skin type of a thing, okay? And we have here fair woman dealings or relationships with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. So some of you here may have blonde, white, or gray hair, or be fair complexion, or some of you may be very annoyed with a particular person that looks like that, okay? Or something about this situation with this person is very annoying, okay? And I feel like you guys have been more than fair in a particular situation, but perhaps it's not translating, Perhaps you actually do need to voice your frustrations as well, pile number 1, with a particular situation. We have rat. Someone is working against you behind your back. Oh my God. Well, no wonder you're so annoyed, pile number 1. I feel like, you've been more than fair in a situation, or you've been trying to suggest solutions to a problem. Or you've been providing, for some reason, Spirit's giving me backup information or backup detail. Perhaps there was some report you had to run or some detail you had to provide, or there was something you had to do at work, or there was something you needed to provide to a company you were dealing with in some way. But it just kind of feels to me, pile number 1, that you're trying to be as fair as you possibly can be, or you're trying to be as professional and fair and, giving people chances, etc., as you can be. But it just seems like there's a person who doesn't really care what you say or do anyway. They just want to be in a bad mood, or they just want to, act off for whatever reason, okay? Someone is working against you behind your back, and I feel like it's mystifying to you, pile number 1, because you've gone out of your way to be helpful to this person. I feel like, you've tried to possibly educate this person, or you tried to help them, and anyway, there could be information that is a contradiction as well. Like receiving 2 different messages can also be very agitating, pile number 1. So perhaps you're dealing with that too. Okay. And I feel you guys are very sensitive as well. You're very intuitive, pile number 1, with this healer here. And you really are trying to do the best you can in a challenging situation, is what I feel. But I also feel like somebody isn't really respecting that, okay? And doesn't really, just wants to be in a bad mood, okay? I'm getting the number 44 or 44, so perhaps you have that in your phone number or street address, or 44 is somebody's birthday, but I just got 44 or number 44, okay? And yeah, so pile number 1. I also feel like some of you could be annoyed with your significant other because you're trying to help with things, or you're trying to do things, for those of you that are partnered up, and, not speaking on it or not talking about it could actually be making it more difficult for yourself than it needs to be, okay? So with Giraffe Spirit, I feel like Giraffe Spirit is very fair as well, and is very peaceful and easygoing and graceful, right? When I see fair woman, I think of Libra energy too. So perhaps, that equal weight or that equal balance given to situations, and doing your best. I feel pile number 1, and all you can do is your best, right? If people are just going to be pissed, then they're going to be pissed, We have here the engineer and Mars. Yes, the problem solver. So my pile number 1s, you guys, again, look at all these intricacies. Look at all these different gears trying to work together. Look at all the complex math going on. I see the formula for pi over here. Like, some of you could have very technical jobs, or some of you could be very, I feel like something has caused you to sweat, or something has caused you to work overtime, or some of you may be analyzing the time that you're putting into things versus what you're getting out of them. And I'm also seeing somebody that's like an hour late to something, or showed up an hour late to an appointment or a meeting, or perhaps somebody like not respecting your time, or perhaps you went to an appointment, like a doctor's appointment or some type of appointment, and it just took forever and you were trying to be as fair as possible type of thing. I'm just getting this energy of things being very complicated, and it's like lots of different calculations or machinations to kind of get to the result, and then still like somebody isn't happy, And I feel like you definitely have the ability to see what's going on behind the scenes. Pile number one, like, not only are you very like intuitive healer, but you're also very technical at something, or you're very much aware of how something works, okay? Or you've been studying how something works, okay? And on this card, it says every problem has a solution. And I think sometimes Giraffe spirit has a better like vantage point over things and can see more, and is more interested in a solution that is very like simple versus some throwing in layers and layers of complications. So perhaps that needs to be brought out, okay? But how agitating would it be for you to be pouring all your precious energy into something only to have somebody working against you, or not really like, I mean, it's like, did I just do all this work for nothing? And Mars is very much wanting to take action on things, okay? And sometimes maybe we can find a more graceful solution to a problem, or if we wait a minute and stop spinning our wheels, the answer will kind of come to us, and we'll just think of it and it'll pop out of nowhere. And on here it says curious, productive, technical, hardworking, focused, creative, competent, practical, competitive, decisive, determined, analytical, adventurous, loyal, and generous. Yeah, and I love this for you guys. Competent, creative problem solver, technical, focused, determined, analytical. Pile number one, like, if there's any situation that you've been doing your best to tolerate, but at some point you need to probably voice your frustrations to explain the situation in a different way, okay? And Giraffe spirit, talking about the unique talents and gifts that you have. One of these talents and gifts, you have multiple coming up here. One is your ability to deal with complex problems. Two is your ability to bring healing to situations and to leave things better than when they started. Three is your ability to deal with challenging and difficult people and still be able to come up with good solutions. And four is your ability to be very technical and productive and curious about what it is that you're working on. And I think this formula, pile number one, is an extremely, it's a formula for excellence, pile number one. And perhaps not everybody is happy with that, and something about the Giraffe spirit, I didn't mention it in the beginning, but Giraffe spirit can also bring out feelings of jealousy from other people. Now, this someone working against you behind your back rat could definitely be a part of that. And unfortunately, sometimes, like when people, and also I wrote for Giraffe, intellect not understood by inner circle, or intellect or what you're proposing or what you're doing or suggesting is not being understood by other people, and they may just need a moment to catch up to what you're saying, because I feel some of you in pile number one could actually have a very high IQ. And I don't know if you think of yourself that way, pile number one, but I think you have an amazing combination of both intuitive care, affection, attention, and emotional intelligence with healer here, but also very technically proficient as well. And that's quite a combination, and it is your rare gift that you can really get in there with people, really analyze things, or really look at things, or really problem solve on things. And some people may not really, you may have goals or bigger than where you're currently at right now, or people around you may be looking at you like your goals are going to be bigger than what's going on right now, okay? But it kind of feels like maybe some of this is motivated by jealousy, okay? Especially with this rat here. I mean, not to put down rats, but like they're so insignificant compared to a giraffe. So I wouldn't really I really wouldn't give it two shits about it, honestly, pile number one, if it was me. But let's go ahead and see. Let's ask the question, where is spirit holding you in high honor and away from predators? Okay, where is spirit holding pile number one in high honor and away from predators? Let's take a look. 8 of Cups. Ooh, departures. Okay, so sometimes it's lonely, like walking down your own path, or sometimes it feels a little, I'm getting the word exhausting, but I'm also getting the word like sometimes it's a little alienating or exhausting to feel like, you're sort of like walking your own path, or that you may have to, like, if you voice your concerns but they're not taken seriously, then some of you may be contemplating like leaving a situation. And I feel like spirit has a way of making situations that are too small for you be very annoying and petty. Also, I feel like, and that will cause you guys to leave. And it's like, okay, that wasn't for you. Also, I do feel that there could be a departure of someone, this rat in particular. So if you're dealing with somebody and they've been in your hair and they've been annoying and they've been irritating, I do feel like that person could be departing. They could be leaving or mysteriously absent or not around when you need to do what you need to do, okay? And I honestly am getting the energy of sometimes of, because you guys are so determined, I feel like a lot of people kind of maybe just give up and end up like letting go of whatever it is that they were trying to, accomplish by working against you, because you guys just keep going, or you keep tinkering with things, or you keep working on things. So at some point it just doesn't make sense. They lose interest, basically. So I feel like Giraffe spirit is helping you to either lose interest in a particular agitation and just focus on bigger things for yourself, or perhaps those people that have been opposing you are going to be leaving or removed from a particular situation, okay? So that's good. And if you're taking a departure, you leaving or them leaving is a bad sign. I don't think so. I think it's a good thing. It's a protective thing, okay? And it's interesting because the 8 of Cups in the tarot is Saturn and Pisces, and perhaps some of you are looking at this upcoming Saturn in Pisces transit and wondering, what is this all going to be about for me? It's going to be fine, pile number one, but you could be, you could be just deciding I'm done with this company, situation, person, or they may just, drop off your radar. Either way, there's a dropping off of the radar that actually helps out. What are pile number one's rare talents or gifts that they should show off right now to accomplish their goals? I already feel like this Mars engineer is a huge part of that for you guys. Page of Cups is on the bottom of the deck. Of course, you're a healer. Some people may not even know that you're a healer. It's on the bottom of the deck, the Page of Cups. Some people may not even know that, on the side, or as a hobby, maybe some of you do art on the side or music on the side. Maybe at times you didn't even realize yourself that you're a healer, okay? But you are, very much so. And I feel like you guys have been doing that since you were a child, okay? Being a healer. All right, pile number one. We have the King of Pentacles. What rare or unique talent should you show off to accomplish your goals? I mean, you have the King of Pentacles. You have a lot of talents. You also have a way of attracting people that want to support you because you are dependable, organized, strong, determined. And I also feel like your leadership qualities are very strong and practical, and your ability to make good decisions, not just for yourself, but for the good of others is very much something that you guys should invest in, okay? And I feel like, you guys need to let people see the leadership side of yourself even more, okay? And the ambitious side, all right? Because I do feel like people will want to support you or align to you. I also feel like there's so many, you guys could probably handle the job of I feel for some of you, it would take 5 people to replace you. Because I also feel like, creating a system of productivity or a way of handling things is very good for you guys, okay? And I do feel like with this King of Pentacles here, there is somebody noticing your rare and unique talents. And I do feel like it's going to be attracting more money or more material gain for you, pile number one, okay? And let's see what else here. The King of Pentacles in the tarot is the fiery part of Earth. So let people see your determination and your willingness to take practical steps towards problem solving, okay? Because you got it, pile number one, all right? And where does pile number one need to set their goals more high in life? Where does pile number one need to set their goals more higher, I should say? Ace of Pentacles, ooh, the Diamond, the Devil. Okay, where do you need to set your goals higher? So the Devil has to do with our material existence. And in your case, I feel like some of your financial goals and some of your goals for success, okay, pile number one, or some of your financial things that you want to accomplish. And also I'm getting the word hierarchy, okay? And I kind of feel where you are right now, this is Devil energy is aligning to this rat, okay? I feel like there's been certain promises made, or there's been certain things that have been promised, but then people don't make good on those promises, and people want to selfishly keep you where you are. But at the same time, pile number one, it's not going to work, okay? And I honestly feel if you're holding yourself back because of any self-esteem issues or because you feel like you're not good enough, then I feel like those things are meant to be overcome, okay, by the encouragement, support, and love of people around you who actually like wish you well on your path, okay? And I think some of you have run into certainly some very combative energy and people that will tell you one thing just to keep you where you are, but never really plan to make good on what they promised, okay? And so, you know, with the devil, like it definitely is, and the devil in the tarot is Saturn, right? So Saturn is a planet of limitations. It is a planet of staying stuck in the same position for a really, really long time because of, you know, because of the circumstances around us, really. And I feel like you guys, where you're at right now, whether that a certain relationship at work, a certain friend group, it's not really a place for you to thrive. That's why I feel like we have the Eight of Cups here, okay? And I feel some of you may be a little bit scared of dreaming big or going bigger because of the way that people have tried to hold you back in life, pile number one, or made things harder for you with this complexity, especially when you try to leave or go. But I feel like this is something you can rise above because you're a very creative problem solver in all areas of life, okay? Let's go ahead and I feel like you need to set your money goals higher and your work goals higher and your health goals higher, okay? Those are the areas that I'm really feeling for you as far as needing to set our sights higher. But I also feel like somebody could be trying to control that or trying to stop you from that. But I also think you guys are too smart to be fooled in that way or to go to that level, go to that lower level or be fooled, okay? Because the giraffe spirit sees all, you know, and can get a really good idea of what's happening in the environment. Let's go ahead and get one last general message from the giraffe spirit for my pile number ones. What would the giraffe spirit? They just want you to know that you're very solid and determined and that you have a strong mind. Okay, pile number one, like first and foremost, okay? This person or this situation with this rat and devil is a temporary roadblock or it's a temporary thing. It's not going to last forever, okay? Let's go ahead and get a giraffe spirit. What say you to my pile number ones, please? What say you? Page of Pentacles. Aw, look at that. Like, look at all the different levels and, you know, starting each level with optimism, not trying to get overwhelmed with all the different steps it takes, but just focusing on, you know, the one thing right now, okay? And I love that Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the giraffe spirit is saying their message to you is Page of Swords, the Moon, okay, and the Eight of Swords. Okay. With the Page of Swords, the Page of Swords is extremely clever and extremely with it and extrememly like curious. And I feel like, okay, I love that she's wearing this purplish blue unitard, okay, or this bodysuit or whatever it's called, unitard bodysuit. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if I didn't say the wrong word, but bodysuit, I guess. And I love the pose and I love like the sassiness of it. The Page of Swords definitely has that sassy factor going on. And I also feel like I also feel like the giraffe spirit are saying clear your head, like take a couple days to clear your head, or take a few days to open up your mind and clear your head, and the answer to the solution will become extremely clear to you. Okay? And I feel like they're also telling you to get curious about your dreams with the moon card. Um, dream interpretation, dream analysis. I feel like this with the moon and the page of swords, like possibly writing down your dreams or um, helping others with their dreams. It's like almost like becoming a champion of dreams. It's so weird, like what they're trying to tell me. I'm like, it's so esoteric. A champion of dreams? What does that mean? But I feel like they're saying is get curious about the shifting and changing landscapes and open up your mind to the way that sometimes our reality gets distorted because we're overthinking and over analyzing, okay? And I feel like the giraffe spirit with the moon is also trying to help you get, because I feel you guys need to be very mentally aware when you're awake, but at night, you definitely need a way to kind of calm that down or settle down. And I also feel with the moon and the Eight of Swords, for those of you that have been dealing with an epic amount of uncertainty or an epic amount of, analysis paralysis, or you felt like you're restless or anxious and you want to make changes, but you don't know where to start. I also feel like giraffe spirit is saying, start with writing things down with the page of swords, or start with coming up with a plan, or start coming up with a list of priorities, okay? And because the moon and the Eight of Swords are both extremely nebulous. Like the moon's like, I don't really know how to feel about this. And the Eight of Swords is like, I don't really know what to think about this. Okay. And sometimes it can keep us from taking action on something because we're like, because we're just not sure. But sometimes we're telling ourselves, well, I'm not sure, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. I need more time. I need like more, just kind of like putting things off a little bit with the Eight of Swords and the moon, kind of putting things off to a better time. I feel like the Page of Swords or the giraffe spirit here is saying, really think about perhaps your tendency to put off the things that you really want or dream of for yourself, okay? And there is something about the moon and the Eight of Swords that feels a little bit directionless or a little bit lost, okay? But I also feel like once you say what's on your mind, pile number one, once you voice your frustrations or say what's on your mind, I feel like all those kind of questions go away, And it's so interesting sometimes when people get readings. I mean, the Page of Swords is like test something out, say it and see how it goes. I find it real interesting sometimes. I just heard your mind will lead you out of the distortion of misunderstandings, okay? Pile number one. I think it's so interesting sometimes when people get tarot readings like, does this person like me? And sometimes just asking, like if you're confused, just ask, hey, do you like me? And, or hey, like, last time we spoke, it wasn't clear whether, this position was open or not. Or last time we spoke, it seemed like we needed a little more time. Like, what about now? The Page of Swords is definitely more vocal and more curious about. Also, I feel like getting curious about your subconscious mind and why sometimes you procrastinate on making decisions or taking action or leaving or going with this Eight of Cups, okay? And thinking about like, what are your fears or what's the worst that could happen? Okay, and I feel like some of you have felt like you're up to your knees, or you've been sinking in quicksand with like too much on your mind. Okay, so I feel like the giraffe spirit has that very clear vision, which is so important for the Page of Swords to have. To have, like, yes, the world around us can be confusing and we don't know what other people are going to do, but being able to clearly decide what's right for us and speak it and say it is the most important thing. Okay, so pile number 1, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated for you, pile number 1, and I'd like to hear any thoughts or feedback that you have on the reading. Okay, so take care, my darlings, and let's move on to pile number 2. Okay. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the grapes, and today's reading is the Giraffe Spirit Animal Totem. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Pile number 2. It's so much more interesting when you live life from your intuition. Like, I know we have to use the rational brain too, but that giraffe spirit is very intuitive and is very, like, aware of its surroundings, which I love. I think that is a whole other level of intelligence. So let's go ahead and begin for my beautiful pile number 2s. I'm going to shuffle a little bit, and then we will get into your oracle cards, and then we'll look at the tarot, okay? And we'll find out exactly what message this animal totem has for you. And I mentioned in my intro that giraffes are like a cross between a leopard and a camel. I had never heard that before. That just is so funny to me. And, you know, they're out in the desert in Africa. They don't need to drink that much or even sleep that much. But very interesting. 5 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, which is completely opposite of that peaceful, quiet, graceful, thoughtful nature, perhaps of a giraffe. Perhaps some of you have felt under a lot of pressure lately. Pile number 2. Let's go ahead and see what is going on. Or perhaps I'm also getting the word triggered. Perhaps you have felt pressured, triggered, or even wrongly accused of something is another thing that I'm getting, okay? And I am seeing a tall blonde gentleman who, like, very good looking with a younger type face. Maybe some of you have been talking to somebody like that. I'm also seeing somebody with red hair, tall gentleman with red hair, freckles or red hair, okay? Interesting. Pile number 2. So let's go ahead and see. What is the giraffe spirit? What are all these guys showing up in this reading for? Pile number 2. What you got going on? Is somebody feeding you grapes while you lay in bed? Let's go ahead and see. The heat is on. We have friendship. Okay, then. We have the 11th house, which is also another friendship type of a house in astrology. It talks about the community. It talks about, you know, the common goals that we share. Also, the 11th house in Vedic astrology is a house of gain, and its Karaka is Jupiter. So, yeah, it's very much about our associations, and it also is the 2nd house from our 10th house of career. So it, you know, represents the money from our career. And when we have groups or, you know, friendships or things that could possibly help or assist with what you're working on, I'm also seeing somebody who could have a friendship that is turning into more, or perhaps a friendship that is exploring a passionate, you know, a passionate element to it. Let's see what else here. Pile number 2, wink, wink. We have mirage. Being distracted and tired only makes the way ahead seem insurmountable, okay? And it's interesting because giraffes only need 30 minutes to 5 minutes to 30 minutes of sleep in a 24-hour period. And maybe perhaps you guys have only had that much sleep as well. Pile number 2, you're like, I could use all the help I can get, Natalie, right? Maybe you have been very busy, very distracted, very tired, and you haven't been getting the rest you need. It says, given time to rest and reassess, the direction you need to take will become clearer, okay? And I do feel there's something you could be agonizing about right now, pile number 2, and I feel it has to do with relationships, whether it's friendships, romance, getting to know someone that's a friend that becomes more than that, a friends with benefits situation. I do feel some of you could be staying up late and having makeout sessions with people and stuff like that. I also feel like some of you are wondering, like, can I trust what I'm hearing? Also, I feel like somebody could be having an issue with their ear or having their ear checked out. You know, when the doctor takes, looks into your ear with their little light thing or whatever. I am seeing something about that, or perhaps you had issues with your ears when you were younger. But let's see what else we have here. Being distracted and tired only makes things seem even more epically exhausting. Yeah, with this 5 of Wands, given time to rest and reassess, the direction you need to take will become clearer, okay? And Giraffe is all about having that 360-degree view, being able to make decisions from the best vantage point. We have here leg, stepping into a new experience. Ooh, me oh my. And that's a, you know, that's a leg that is not fully clothed either. So stepping into a new experience, perhaps stepping into a new friendship, perhaps stepping into a new relationship type thing, perhaps stepping into getting to know some new people or some different people. I'm also getting the energy of somebody who moved recently, or somebody who is entertaining a new group of friends, or, you know, when you move, you tend to, it may take a while, but you tend to meet different people, or you consider a friendship or something. I am getting the energy of somebody who, perhaps you went through a big move and it was very tiring or exhausting, or you're just living in a different place right now. I'm also getting the energy of people who moved out of like the main city and moved a little bit farther out. So maybe you have been farther from friends or farther from groups, and so you're getting to know new people. I am seeing this type of thing. Giraffes are very social animals, and they do like to hang out with other giraffes, and they do have each other's backs. Like, giraffes don't sit very often because it exposes them to predators, but sometimes another giraffe will like have their back so they can sit for a minute and drink some water. They don't need to drink water very often, but it's that energy of having people that support you and have your back and really listen to what you're saying, okay? We have here grasshopper. Oh, I love the grasshopper because it's like the fool, in a lot of animal decks, the grasshopper is representing the fool. I was going to call it the fuel in here, like the fuel for something. But, leaping into new experiences is also like the fool, like taking that leap, or, deciding, hey, I'm going to try this new thing and I hope I don't get burned again. I'm also getting the energy of somebody who had a Charlie horse or a muscle cramp as well. But this grasshopper card here says situations in the balance that require careful handling. Okay, and this could be around this new situation that you kind of found yourself in. Okay, and for those of you that are handling more than one person, give the rest of us some tips for my players out there. I was gonna call for my pimps and players out there, pile number 2, but anyway, you're stepping into some new territory that you haven't been before. And it's fun, you could be meeting people, you could be talking to new people, you could be flirting with somebody, and it's like, are they a friend? Are they more? Like, what's going on? And for some of you, you know, these situations, particularly if you start dating someone in a community that you're already involved in, that happens to be a part of that community, like, you know, it's kind of like astrologers dating each other. There's that whole thing. Anyway, it's just an example, but it's like situations that require careful handling, okay? And the Five of Wands can be kind of like a blunt hammer. You know, giraffe energy is very graceful and thoughtful and is not really in a hurry. The Five of Wands is definitely depicting people that are in a big hurry and kind of only, you know, seeing their way or the highway. You know what I mean? It's my way or the highway. The Five of Wands in the tarot is a Saturn and Leo card. So it's like, you know, Saturn doesn't do particularly well in Leo and can become bitter and resentful and all of that too. So, I mean, I feel you guys are past that though. If you were dealing with power struggles or situations, I kind of feel like you're stepping into a new era of your life and you're being kind of careful because you don't want to screw things up and get into bad energy. I think you're very aware it's easy to kind of get into bad energy, but some of you may also be needing to handle situations very carefully, but you're also like very tired or you're epically needing more sleep too. So it's making you second guess things, okay? We have the collaborator here. Yes, the moon. And the collaborator is very 11th house too. Groups, unity, working on a team, working together. I love that the globe is here because with all the different colored hands, because that talks to me like about diversity or, like respecting everyone's opinion in the room. And some of you in my pile number 2s, you may be very diverse. You may have a very cool, interesting background or lend a very unique perspective. We have the moon here, which the moon does have to do with our ancestors, our family of origin, our culture, our traditions, the public, you know, the type of atmosphere we grow up in, all of that, the way we express ourselves emotionally. I feel like you guys are very open to a lot of perspectives. And again, with the world here and that energy of somebody moving or perhaps wanting to move or traveling is very cool. And this has to do with your unique skills. And part of what I was mentioning about this reading with the giraffe spirit was talking about unique skills, because the giraffe definitely is super, super unique. And yeah, you guys are too. You're cooperative, receptive, connective. You connect people. Some of you may be very powerful connectors or networkers. I knew somebody like that back in the day, this Leo friend of mine, and man, she had a way of connecting people. Like, she just had this way about her. It was very powerful. It was very cool. And knowing her just like meant that your world was going to expand. So anyway, connective, supportive, curious, empathetic, responsible, insightful. Yeah, and that's why I think you guys are empathetic and responsible and insightful. So if you are embarking upon a new experience with a group of people or friends, or perhaps, you know, edging into a romantic situation in some way, I feel like you guys are very responsible, insightful, and empathetic. So you try to consider all the factors, okay? Accepting of others, inclusive, reliable, and co-creative, okay? Very cool energy, all right? And perhaps I feel a lot of you in this pile could have mutable sign energy, which is Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius, okay? Maybe you have like moon in Sag, or, you know, Pisces rising, or whatever you've got going on. But I feel like when you guys get very tired, sometimes that's when you may make, you know, mistakes that you regret, or, you know, and everyone makes mistakes, so we need to be, you know, forgiving with ourselves. But I feel like also too, if you guys get very distracted, or if you're trying to do 100 things at one time, or you're not allowing yourself to rest and like come back, you know, to the issue later, then everything becomes overwhelming. And I mean, I think one of the downsides maybe sometimes pile number 2 is that you have a tendency to get scattered. And but like when you're well rested and know what you're gonna do next, I feel like it's like no man left behind with pile number 2, because you guys bring everybody to the table, or I feel some of you really want to be a part of something meaningful is the other thing I'm getting. It's like, I want to be a part of something meaningful. I want to have like a meaningful belonging in my life. And we all have this sense of wanting to belong, right? And with the 5 of Wands, clearly everyone's trying to belong here on this card, but nobody's in agreement. No one's really like, and frankly, everyone's trying to step over the other person or assert their will. There's not really like a smooth, graceful flow to things. And perhaps some of you here have to lead social groups in some type of a way, or perhaps you're gonna be called to lead some type of social setting or social group in the way. And, you know, I feel you guys have really positive leader qualities that we need, you know, people who are empathetic, receptive, inclusive, reliable. Like, we need these types of leaders. But I also feel like you guys may have a tendency to stretch yourself too thin, which may muddy the water, okay? But you're doing great, pile number 2. Like, you're doing really great. And I'm actually excited for you guys because I feel like you're gonna be meeting like cool, new, interesting people to chat with, to get to know. I feel like, you know, you and an old friend could be chatting again, or planning a trip together. I mean, I just feel you guys are like embracing your best qualities now. I mean, people focus so much on their bad quality, you know, I mean, I kind of just feel like with the giraffe spirit, it really reminds me of Jupiterian energy. And I feel like you guys are really embracing that. It's like when a giraffe eats, they use their tongue to wrap it around all the leaves, and, you know, so they can grab the leaves and chew them and eat. But, you know, in doing that, their tongue will hit a lot of thorns, you know, or hard things. But the giraffe doesn't like mind it. It's fine. It's like, it's a part of the process. And, you know, I'm eating, and, you know, I'm grateful I'm eating, and what else, you know? So I kind of feel like you guys are embracing that, where it's like, I don't want the bad things to matter so much anymore. I kind of want like, yeah, because the 11th house is very much hope, discoveries, okay? Hope and discovery, like doing new stuff. I like it. I really, really do. Let's go ahead. I feel very hopeful for you, pile number 2, okay? About where things are headed for you. Where is Spirit holding you in high honor and away from predators, okay? This is part of the giraffe spirit, okay? Where is Spirit holding you in high honor and away from predators? Let's take a look at this one. Pile number 2, we have the Knight of Swords. Wow. Okay. Pile number 2. This could be with a specific person I feel that Spirit is protecting you from. Now, this could have been a person, I don't really want to talk about it, even pile number 2, and maybe you don't want to either, because it kind of felt my heart drop a little bit as I was starting to talk about this, and I don't really want to make this reading about this. I feel sad now for some reason, pile number 2, but I do feel like there was somebody in your life who could have said very mean things to you, or could have made you feel hopeless, or somebody, perhaps it was someone in your family, a brother, a father, mother, sister, whoever, perhaps, you know, a partner you had in your past that had a very negative attitude. I just feel like somebody's energy affected you in a very, like, I don't know, it just makes me sad. I'm like, no, okay. And Aw, pile number 2. And I just feel like Spirit is, I love that this Knight of Swords is armored and is staying really focused on the future, okay? And is keeping the head, like, you know, the Knight of Swords can be known for like saying too much and doing too much and being kind of out of control. And perhaps you guys have been around people like that, that were very exciting, or, you know, talked out of their ass, or, you know, made promises that they couldn't keep to you, or perhaps like, you know, saw you hurting but didn't care and just ignored your feelings. Like, pile number 2, I don't really want to spend all the time chatting on it, because I just feel, and I feel like you guys are closing that chapter and leaving it behind, okay? And I know it was challenging, and I know it was difficult, but Spirit is also telling me that these people that acted this way are very desperate people, and they're very angry, desperate people, and they don't see the way that their words or actions are affecting other people. And, you know, one thing giraffes do when they want to give each other a hug is they like wrap their necks around each other as a way to kind of give each other a hug. And to me, that's kind of like what a good friend does, or somebody that you can really trust. Like, you know, like just even having that hug, or that, like, it's going to be okay, or even those encouraging words, you know, instead of people tearing you down. Like, pile number 2, I mean, I think you're doing really good, and I feel like some of you are starting over with a new chapter. Yep, there's Ace of Swords, Archangel Michael protecting you, pile number 2, okay? So very much so, you are being protected by Spirit from these types of energies, okay? And it's amazing that you guys have like the hope and the willingness to start over like you do. It's wonderful, okay? It's inspiring me. And where do you need to set your goals higher? According to Giraffe Spirit, where does pile number 2 need to... Okay, the Knight of Pentacles. So thinking about all your goals, pretty much, like, and I feel like it's kind of like your map of life, like your destiny, where you want to go. Like, I do feel like you guys need goals to stay motivated. Like, some people really need that to feel motivated and hopeful. And actually, I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles, I kind of feel like you guys are right on target with your goals and your dreams. And I feel like you're steadily building towards it. And out of all the Knights, the Knight of Pentacles represents the airy part of Earth. So really good strategy, really good organization, very practical, very grounded, very specific. Like, actually, I feel you guys are on track with your goals, and I feel like your plan is good. I feel like your plan is realistic, and I feel like Spirit's giving you the okay sign here, pile number 2, like, good, you know, you're doing it, you're in process, it's taking dedication, it's taking time, you're being patient, you're not trying to like overanalyze something a million times. Like, you kind of come up with the plan and then execute on it. And I feel like by doing that, you're really grounding into where you're at. And I feel like staying grounded with where you are right now, especially for those of you who are moving around a lot or doing different things a lot. I also feel some of you could have goals about your health and your eating habits and staying healthy, for those of you that are working a lot or traveling some or just moved type of thing. Your goals are good. Like, you're good. I feel like you set reasonable goals for yourself, and I feel like you're working on them. So A+, pile number 2. I'm impressed. Give some of that to me over here, okay? And let's see, what rare talents should you show off now to accomplish your goals? What rare talents should pile number 2 show off to strengthen their goals? Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Well, I like that. There's a decision maker who appreciates people that consider other people's feelings when they're making decisions, but also make decisions from a very rational perspective. There's a lot of court cards here, so there's a lot of different influences going on. I feel some of you could be making friends with a Queen of Swords type of a person. Somebody who is like very smart and rational and brings a lot of really great ideas to the table. Let's see here. Okay, we have the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so what rare, unique talent? So you have a way of inspiring people to want more for their lives, okay? And the 5 of Pentacles could be a space where we feel very down and depressed about our future, and we feel like there's nothing for us, okay? And goes through, the 5 of Pentacles will have us going through a lot of emotional, physical, mental, spiritual hardship. And it's that point where we almost feel like giving up. And I feel like you guys help other people and you help them realize, like, you know, I feel you guys are very good friends and you're very much there for the people that you love and care about. And I feel like your journey inspires other people, you know, and I do feel there could have been times in life, pile number 2, where the responsibilities could have been like very crushing or very difficult and very challenging on your shoulders and on your back. But I also feel like it made you guys very resourceful. And some of you, you can do a lot with hardly anything. Some people, they have so much in their life, but they don't appreciate it. They waste it. They have all their needs met financially, physically, but they're still not happy, okay? And I feel like that's because people are alone and they feel abandoned, you know? And if you guys can bring people together with this moon collaborator energy and help people to feel less alone and create kind of a safety net for everybody, you know, involved in this situation, I feel like, you know, I feel some of you here are very humanitarian, or you're very do-gooder, or you have a very cool vision for society, for helping people who have not had a lot, who haven't had a lot of support. And I feel your guys' story is the story of, you know, like the phoenix. It's the story of the scorpion. It's the story of the person rising from the ashes to create something that helps shelter others and makes, you know, everybody feel like they're a part of something together. Okay, and our society needs that more than ever. This society is a broken society. And we don't, as they say, we don't need any more billionaires. We don't need any more whatever. We don't need any more Bernie Madoffs or whoever. We don't need any more of that. What we need is people who know how to build and organize and community and friendship. People who know how to bring people with common vision and common goals together. You know, that's what we desperately need in this society. And I feel some of you with this Queen of Wands here, or this Queen of Swords here, you may be meeting, oh, look, that's right there with the Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. There you go. You know, there's some strategic decisions and some decisions that need to be made while considering the needs of everyone else, but making decisions for the greater good. Now, I feel, I'm just getting something very interesting, pile number 2. I feel in some society, like some of you, I feel like have a past life of being a person who was responsible for making decisions or making calls for the tribe or the group, okay? Like the wise woman of the tribe or the queen of the group or the tribe. Like I feel some of you, I'm just getting this energy of this wise woman. Could be, gender doesn't matter, but I'm getting this wise woman energy, or somebody who is held responsible for considering the needs of the whole, but also making the best decisions for the whole considered. And it takes a lot of wisdom and a lot of strength and a lot of mental and emotional strength to hold that type of role. Okay. And I feel like I'm also getting here people that could have done like social work or, humanities or these types of things. But pile number 2, what I'm saying is I feel like some of you held very distinguished roles in a past life, or you held some type of distinguished role where you were the one having to make these choices or face these decisions. And I feel like because of that, like people will trust you. I also feel people will feel like you're a person that has the ability to bring others together in harmony, okay? And that's wonderful. That is gorgeous energy, pile number 2. I just have to say that is extremely beautiful energy that you have carrying with you into this lifetime, okay? It's very powerful energy too, and it is going to attract the right people to you, the right energy where you... Whoa. Oh my God, pile number 2. This only happens like in readings where I'm doing like some kind of crazy channeling. My iPad in the other room just started talking about how the earth is 4 billion years old and there's scientists and prehistoric data and all this shit. Like, what is going on? Oh, pile number 2. All right. Well, let's get a message from Giraffe Spirit. I feel like Giraffe Spirit's like, this about yourself, or you're understanding this about yourself now, or, like, I feel like you're one of those people, pile number 2, like you can just show you a fraction of the way or a fraction of the nudge and you know what to do. And it's truly, I feel like the Giraffe Spirit just, I mentioned the neck hug and all of that earlier and the way they hug, but let's go ahead and see for my pile number 2s. What is message from Giraffe Spirit to pile number 2, please? It's so weird when that happens with my... Look at you guys. There's the Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck again. Hello, hello. And we have the Magician and the Tower. Oh my goodness. This is extremely powerful energy, pile number 2. And the Giraffe Totem is a powerful one for you guys, okay? And, the Tower is about the destruction of false structures that we built ourselves, okay? And the Tower is right after the Devil in the tarot. So the Devil is about the maintaining of false structures that are basically a lie that we feel compelled to believe, an illusion, okay? And a lot of cultures talk about illusion, like Maya and all the different religions talking about illusion and this type of thing. Tower is the destroyer of those illusions, and Tower frees us to the Star card, where we can really get a true glimpse of who we are and what we are, okay? So I feel like what the giraffes are saying here is that you're a very powerful manifester, pile number 2, okay? And with that power comes a lot of responsibility, okay? And I also feel like if you guys have tried to change things in the past and something really bad happened or something unexpectedly happened, I feel some of you could be holding yourselves, though, pile number 2, like you could be holding yourselves responsible for something that happened when you were younger or some event that happened in your family. I'm just getting here somebody who, I feel some of you feel like you messed around with the wrong thing, or you did something that you can't take back, okay? And some of you might have experienced something spiritually crazy when you were younger, or had something happen, like you said something or you wished for something because you were mad and then it happened to that person. I'm just getting this kind of energy, pile number 2, that's very powerful. But I also just feel like Giraffe Spirit is saying if something weird happened, or you did something that you didn't mean to do, but it happened nonetheless, whatever it was, I just feel like Giraffe Spirit is saying, don't, you know, you know, guilt and self-recrimination are tools that powerful tools that we could use against ourselves to dampen our spark or our enthusiasm, etc. Or it may have us being afraid of using our whole power, you know? And I feel like Giraffe Spirit is saying to you guys, like, do not, I feel some of you here align with the dragons as well. You know, giraffes to me are kind of like land dragons in a way, but I kind of, you know, the magician in the tower is very impulsive energy. It's very exciting and impulsive, but it may also be an energy of like, poof, I imagine something and it's here and then it's gone. Or I feel like some of you have been having these lessons of not getting too attached to like where you live or what you have. Or I feel some of you have become tapping into deeper levels of your own magic, pile number 2. This is kind of deep, okay? But I also just feel like the giraffes are saying here, talking about staying grounded. Now, I can see the pentacle in the middle of the magician's chest, okay? And the pentacle in the tarot is the earth spirit. And of course, giraffes really align with the ground. Their feet are always on the ground. They are always standing. Their feet are always on the ground. It's a very, as high as their head is and as high up in the clouds as they are with their necks and their height, they're a very grounded animal. So I feel like there is something to learn about this giraffe magic for you guys. And the whole thing with the tower of like falling, you know, and there's this interesting story that I read when I was preparing for this reading about giraffes like being afraid to walk down a hill because of falling. And when they're born, they like fall like 6 feet to the ground and then they stand up right away and then they're afraid of falling again. You know what I mean? So the magician in the tower could definitely be that energy of, you know, hey, I fucked with something in the past and I'm afraid of falling again. Or, hey, I did something, you know, I was attracted to this particular situation, to this very exciting thing that I manifested into my life, person, romance, whatever situation, pile number 2. And then it's like I saw it completely be stripped from me, or I saw it completely be, you know, be ripped, the rug ripped out from underneath me, okay? And I feel like some of you are starting to understand these motions of attraction and falling and on a deeper level, okay? There is something incredibly like explosive and impulsive and that creates a shit ton of energy, you know? The magician and the tower have the ability to create a lot of energy, right? But if we're afraid of falling, or we're afraid because of the way something happened in the past, we may hold back, okay? But I feel like the giraffe spirit is saying, I feel like you guys are ready to not hold back anymore. And you remember the lessons from the past, okay? And I feel like what the giraffe spirit is just saying, when you're working at great heights, or you're working with so much energy on an intellectual and spiritual level, you just need to stay grounded, okay? Even this magician is grounded into the earth, okay? And that'll keep you from feeling out of control or feeling frightened or feeling afraid, okay, of the next steps or the next things that you're going to do. And I do feel like there are some very exciting and surprising things coming up for you, pile number 2. And I feel like the giraffe spirit is saying you're on the cutting edge of something new. And we don't always have this energy available to us at all points in our life. So definitely use the energy and work with the energy, even if it is a little bit scary at times, okay? So pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my friends. I hope that that reading resonated, and I'd love to hear any comments, thoughts, or feedback that you have. Pile number 2, wishing you the best of luck, my dears, and your new adventures. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay. Let's do it. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the orange, and today's reading is called The Giraffe Spirit, Messages from the Giraffe Animal Totem, okay? And we are gonna go ahead and get that peaceful, easy, graceful feeling that Giraffe Spirit brings to us in your reading, pile number 3. I'm gonna start with your oracle cards, and then I'll move on to the tarot when I'm done, okay? So just a little shuffle here. 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Excitement, adventure. Let's go ahead and get into your reading. Pile number 3. Protection. Okay, very interesting. We have Cancer energy, emotions, protecting the emotions. Okay, intuitive, tender, nocturnal, caring, moody, defensive, introverted. We have here astonished. It's your choice whether to be overwhelmed and bewildered in this situation or to experience it with wonder as an opportunity for a different future. Yeah, this 3 of Wands, okay? Wow. The 3 of Wands is such a powerful card. It is represented by the sun in Aries, okay? And we just had that huge eclipse in Aries, and there's a bunch of planets that have been in Aries and are still in Aries, and it's interesting, right? They're kind of moving into Taurus now, but Spirit just saying here, like, you know, when we shy away from something or we get overwhelmed by something, or we're unwilling, we can either when we look at the way a particular situation turned out, we can either, this is amazing advice, and honestly, I probably need this advice for myself, pile number 3, but Giraffe Spirit saying it's your choice whether to be overwhelmed or be bewildered, or to experience it with wonder as an opportunity for a different future, okay? So when we live our lives like protecting ourselves from certain outcomes, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves you know, starting over completely. The sun in Aries with the 3 of Wands is that invitation to start over completely and start something completely different, okay? Let's see what else we have here. We have Broom, new home, new attitude. Wow, pile number 3. Okay. And for those of you, because Cancer really does have to do with home, or what we define as home, or where we feel comfortable. And perhaps some of you didn't want to let go of your home, or perhaps some of you are selling your home, or you're thinking about moving, etc. Or you're having different roommates or a different home situation, or you're wanting that, okay? New home, new attitude. Yes, pile number 3, okay? And sometimes with Cancer energy, we can feel very like sentimental. We can feel like we don't want to let go of something. We can feel very nostalgic. We can feel very like moody and defensive about a change that we're experiencing, okay? But honestly, wow, pile number 3, new home, new attitude. I love that. And giraffes, interesting to bring it back to giraffe spirit, because giraffes can walk and travel to different places, and they can actually run up to 35 miles per hour. And, you know, I'd like to see a video of a giraffe running, because it would probably look kind of a little awkward, but my goodness, they can run up to 35 miles per hour. But giraffe spirit representing personal growth, big opportunities, big possibilities, and, you know, using your intuition to have a sense of what is coming next. And of course, Cancer is a sign that definitely gets a lot of intuitive hits. I mean, anyone can be intuitive, but Cancer energy in particular is a very intuitive sign. It aligns with the moon. And of course, the moon having to do with our home, where we live, family matters, etc. And some of you here, it's like some of you could have been kicked out of your home, or you're faced with the option of packing your bags up and finding a new one, etc., which can be very overwhelming, right? And giraffe spirit telling us to stay like very calm and thoughtful, peaceful, merciful, practical during these times of change, okay? We have here wreath, sorrow over a loss. Oh, pile number 3, okay. And yeah, and the wreath is usually people hang that on their door, and some people make wreaths and they're beautiful, or some people actually do that as like a craft or a hobby. But like some people, you know, they've got their home or their place where they live in a very beautiful, you know, decorated in a very beautiful, homey way that they really love and enjoy, right? And some of you here may be needing to decorate or really settle into the place that you're at if you're having a new place to live, okay? And interestingly, I was reading an article about giraffes, and they can experience grief when a member of their, you know, when like a fellow giraffe dies or passes away, they do exhibit like grief and sadness, which is very interesting. And giraffes will show comfort to each other by kind of like wrapping their necks together or wrapping their necks around each other and giving each other like a giraffe hug. And yeah, and sometimes like a place that we loved so much actually has like maybe some memories of a loss attached to it. So we need like a fresh space to kind of start over, okay? And yeah, sometimes I remember once, pile number 3, just quickly, I was breaking up with someone, and we lived in a beautiful home together. It was the most gorgeous home I ever lived in. It was right by the water. And, you know, that person's like, well, you can come back here. And I was like, I'm not coming back here, you know, because the memories of that place, just, even though it was gorgeous, beautiful, the memories attached to it were just so painful. And it's so weird in life, right? How we can be in this beautiful, gorgeous place, but be feeling like such sadness about, and grief, you know, about something. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's very eye-opening, pile number 3, okay? We have here the Sage and Jupiter. So at the beginning of my reading, I talked about how the giraffe spirit is very similar to Jupiter because of its big picture vision, its ability to sense what's coming, you know, sticking its neck out for others. When we talk about the ability to sense what's coming, we can talk about Jupiter as the guru or the advisor, the ability to see the big picture, the ability to be graceful and thoughtful about your actions, all of these things being associated with Jupiter. And, you know, holding your head high with high honor, Jupiter very much having to do about that respect and high honor of people as well, okay? And we have Sage and Jupiter here, so very cool. Some of you may also be really connected to owl spirit as well. And yeah, and I feel you guys are very sensitive, and you may be protecting your heart, and you may be protecting your emotions right now, and things may be very tender for you. Some of you may be up late at night because you're thinking about a particular situation. I feel some people in this pile could have had a deep relationship loss that touched you at a very deep level, okay? And along with that could have came a living situation change, a home change, you know, looking at your life and going, I never thought it would end up like this. Like, how the freak did I get here? Possibly some of you moved or left where you were at for a relationship. And of course, you know, Cancer, like I said, very nostalgic, very sentimental, very tender. And perhaps some of you have been feeling very moody and introverted and very protective of yourself, okay? Because of what's happened to you, all right? And maybe it's hard to see the vision for your new life now that you've gone through this experience, pile number 3. And sometimes, like, we're still holding on to the past, you know? We're still holding on to that old vision, or we still, as a way of self-protection, because it feels safer than kind of like embracing the new situation. And I get it, you know, it's a lot to take in emotionally. I feel like some of you have been flooded emotionally with your own emotions, your emotions about a situation. I just feel you guys have been going through a watershed moment, and it's been very deep, okay? And perhaps you guys are not used to this level of attachment or this level of emotion, or because things had progressed in your life a certain way before. And now it's just progressing in a completely different way. So it's like you have to reorientate yourself to reality. And on one hand, this could be very sad, right? Sorrow over a loss and very emotionally painful. Or it could be looked at as an opportunity for freedom and adventure in something new. Now, I'm not saying you're going to feel that way right away, you know, because what you feel at first is the loss of a big piece of what felt like home to you. I feel like pile number 3, okay? But I also feel some of you here are going to be living in a new place. You may be changing the way you look. You may be, there's something about having like a new attitude. Some of you may be having a makeover, living in a new place, trying new things, thinking about traveling or going somewhere. And I feel like you guys are in the stage of thinking about it right now. Perhaps you haven't taken all the action yet because you're still in that phase of grieving or letting go. But I also feel like you guys are coming out of this situation like very wise and very like keyed into yourself and others intuitively, okay? And here we have the truth will set me free, okay? And sometimes we protect ourselves from the truth, or we protect ourselves. We try to like say, oh no, that isn't happening. I don't want to look at that. And because emotionally we can't really deal with it, but then it happens and it's like, oh my God, I never imagined going this way. But I actually think in this case, the truth will set you free, pile number 3. So even though it hurts, it's better to see the truth, right? And let's read what unique talents and unique and rare talents the giraffe spirit would like to share with you, okay? Like what you are. It says wise, spiritually wealthy, gracious, intuitive, inspired, devoted, expansive, self-reflective. Yeah, that's very Cancer. Self-reflective, truth-seeking. And, you know, interestingly, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So, you know, Jupiter loves to be in Cancer. It's a very nice placement for Jupiter. Emotionally intelligent. Yeah, Cancer, emotionally intelligent. I feel some of you could have been holding back on your true feelings because you didn't want to hurt someone else or you didn't want to admit it to yourself. But like we said, the truth is setting you free. And giraffes also too represent that energy of being truth seeking, like being able to see everything from the greatest vantage point, okay? Emotionally intelligent, truthful, philosophical, charitable, okay? So all these things that you are, pile number 3, extremely emotionally wise, very gracious. That's the other energy, Jupiter energy, giraffe energy we were talking about being very gracious and thoughtful and not being in a damn hurry about everything. You know, it takes time. When we've had a big loss in our life and it's been very painful, it takes time to heal. And I get it. If you guys are not really wanting to put yourself out there too much because of this right now and you're needing time to heal, I get it. But I also feel like you guys are going to be entering a new phase with a new attitude. And I feel some of you have some very important gifts to share with others, which are ultimately going to kind of free you from what it is that you've been emotionally absorbed in, okay? And let me go ahead and see here. I just heard that song by Nico Case called I'm Holding On to That Teenage Feeling. So perhaps some of you have not wanted to let go of a feeling that you had when you were in a certain place or when you were with a certain person, okay? And perhaps some of you here are truly astonished that something turned out the way it did, okay? But again, the wisdom is it's your choice whether to be overwhelmed or bewildered or to experience it with wonder as an opportunity for a different future. And I know, depending on, you know, sometimes we really don't want to hear that. It's like, no, I wanted what I wanted. I poured all my heart and soul into it. Cancer, I poured everything I had into this particular person or situation. Like, don't burst my bubble. I don't want to let it go, okay? But I also feel like some of you could be cleaning your house, or you may be ridding your house of things that remind you of this situation because you know it's time to move on, pile number 3, okay? And as that song goes, I'm still standing, yeah, right? I forget, I'm still standing. That reminds me of giraffes because they stand all the time. They rarely ever sit down, okay? Let's go ahead and see where does the giraffe spirit want pile number 3 to become less bothered and more grounded, okay? Less bothered and more grounded. The Hermit on the bottom of the deck. So you guys definitely feeling kind of withdrawn, less bothered and more grounded. Wow. Okay. We have the 8 of Cups. Okay. And the 8 of Cups, especially in this deck, is quite a feeling of a peaceful letting go. Okay. And I see, it looks like I see the fin of a shark in the background. And her clothes are a little dirty and tattered, and there still seems to be like something left behind. And sharks are aggressive, you know, a lot of them are really, really aggressive and scary. I kind of feel like Spirit is saying, you know, that situation that you were in before was not good for you. And it may feel like you're kind of like walking away with nothing, but you are walking to a better future. And you can see the sun rising in the background. And I feel like I'm seeing the word yes here too, which some of you may have guessed, like, or some of you may have been asking or questioning yourself, was it the right decision to walk away? The answer is yes. Whatever at the end of the day brings you this walking away is bringing you more peace at the end of the day. Pile number 3 is what I'm getting here. And I am seeing something that ends in like Venezuela. Perhaps someone is from Venezuela or is from South America, because I am seeing that here. And I'm also seeing the word calm. Okay, so walking towards a feeling of calmness, calming your nervous system, calming your energy, okay, and walking towards something you don't necessarily know. It kind of reminds me of the Death card in a way, because you don't necessarily know what's ahead. You just know you've been in a very challenging place, okay? And I feel you were in a very powerful place, but it was also not sustainable for you to stay there. Okay, pile number 3. And, you know, the ability to kind of like gracefully walk away and not stay in the argument, or not needing to kind of go back into that old environment where it may be very dark or toxic, or you know, not great for you mentally or emotionally, is kind of what I feel. Pile number 3, okay? And this 4 of Pentacles is talking about keeping for yourself what it is for you to feel whole. And that may involve, you know, kind of holding back from saying more things to a particular person. That may be holding back from giving money to a particular person, okay? That may be, I feel some of you here could have had, and I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to start anything here, pile number 3, but I feel some of you could have had, I'm getting the word failed relationship, but I'm also getting something about somebody that had an addiction. Now, whether you used to have one, or they used to have one, or you had one when you were with them, whatever it is, I feel like your peace is your priority right now. And I also feel like, you know, your monetary, like preserving what it is that the gains that you've had from the things that you've done in your life, and preserving that and keeping that for yourself is also important. I also feel like really there's nothing left to say here either, okay? So if there's been things that have been said and you felt like you wanted to respond to something, I feel like it's time to let that go. I also feel like if you've been doing favors for this person or giving them money or whatever, I also feel like you need to keep that for yourself now. I also feel like some of you need to keep your financial situation and what's going on with you financially and where you're living. Some of you may need to be keeping that to yourself right now too, okay? And I feel there is this energy here of not continuing to talk about things, you know, because I feel like it just brings more drama, you know, and it just reopens the wound again. And at this point, I feel like, you know, sometimes we have to take what we have and what we can salvage from a situation and walk away, you know? And I feel that's kind of the way for you guys to be less bothered and more grounded, okay? And where is Spirit holding you in high honor and away from predators? Where is Spirit holding pile number 3 in high honor and away from predators? Oh, well, we already have the protection right out there, right on the table already, but high honor and protection. The Fool, oh my God, pile number 3, right? And this really, you know, the whole giraffe spirit of like sticking our necks out there or taking a risk on something, or, you know, giraffes have those really long necks, talking about like, you know, putting it out there in that way. And giraffe spirit also talking about big possibilities and personal growth, right? Which is very much a fool, you know, type of energy. It's like starting off at 0 again, where you're whole and you're complete and you're tapped into the energy, but you're not being held back by anything. And it's like you get to start over with a clean slate. And it's like you're free, you know? And with that, like anything is possible. I feel like pile number 3. And I do feel like you're going to get to this point where you care less about the past and it's more about, you know, the past is great and it's not like we can completely forget it, but in a lot of cases it's not great. It's very disturbing. but but I mean, the past is fine in a neutral way, but I also just feel like spirit's kind of pointing you in the direction of your future right now, okay? And I don't know why I just got something about angry people with pitchforks or somebody having a pitchfork or whatever. It's like at this point, at this juncture, you don't have to care what anyone else is saying or doing or anything. You're just on your own doing your thing. And that is, I also feel like Giraffe Spirit is saying, giving you a new beginning and having you being able to have this new beginning is part of a protection that we're given to you, okay? And I know it feels like very shocking because the Fool can be very shocking and rattling and unnerving. But I also feel like Spirit's saying, hey, we're giving you all these new opportunities and we're wiping this slate clean for you as an opportunity to start over. And being able to start over fresh after, on the bottom of the deck, after a Tower moment, it's almost like it never happened. And, you know, I don't want to say that, pile number 3, because things are important and the history of things are important. But I also feel like you have this huge cosmic reset and it's gonna protect you, okay? It's gonna protect you from getting lost in the past, okay? Or getting lost in an old world, you know, that you don't need to inhabit anymore, okay? Interesting. Okay. Let's see. I just keep getting this like, who's your God now, or something like that, or perhaps somebody watching a history movie about civilizations crumbling or something like that, and then somebody asking, like, after someone loses everything, like, who's your God now, or something. It's very interesting energy, okay? Perhaps some of you got in an argument with somebody, or somebody liked to fight with you or argue with you a lot about things that you were passionate about, okay? But I just feel like it's fine. You know, you're on a reset. You're being given a second chance at this, okay, pile number 3. So let's go ahead and see. Where does Giraffe Spirit want you to use less force and save your energy? Where do you need to use less force and save more energy? Okay. We have the 10 of Wands. Oh boy. Well, the 10 of Wands says that we're clearly overdoing it in the energy department. You know, we need to use less force and save more energy. And perhaps it's this big thing of like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to put all my things? You know, like the journey's too hard. I don't know where I'm going to go. You know, it's like probably overwhelming yourself with the amount of things that you need to do. And I also feel like you guys need to give your body a rest, okay? Pile number 3. I kind of feel like you guys need to give yourself a little bit of rest and use less energy, use less force, okay? So if you're trying to push at something and it's like you're just finding obstacle after obstacle, then pause and take a break and try it again tomorrow, you know? I am seeing the letter A and the letter N. I'm also seeing NV, could be for Nevada or somebody who lives around that area. I'm also seeing a P here. I mean, as Sheryl Crow would say, every day is a winding road. We get a little bit closer, but the 10 of Wands can make us feel like I'm on a train to nowhere, you know? So I would just until you're sure about where you want to go, or until you're sure about your next step, I would advise not to take your stuff and move it around to a lot of different places. Like, take stuff here, take stuff there. It's like, you know, find the place you're going to land for a little bit, put the stuff there, and let your emotions settle, and then work from that point, okay? Because I feel some of you could be restless, or, you know, trying different things, or perhaps you moved some things over here to a friend's, or you did this, or you did that. It's like, okay, let's take it down a notch, okay? With the 10 of Wands, we're definitely expending way too much energy, okay? Needing to dial it back and rest. Let's see what else here. So what is a general message from Giraffe Spirit right now to pile number 3? What is the general message from Giraffe Spirit? I think your back will thank you at the end of the day, pile number 3. If you've been moving things, doing things, like oh, there's the Hermit again. Yep, so just needing some time, you know, needing some space and time. What's the message here? We have the Queen of Wands. How pile number 3 got their groove back. We have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. Oh, and we have the 7 of Pentacles here too, okay? And the Giraffe Spirit is talking about making sure that you do not, I know there's certain responsibilities that you have, and there's, you know, the tried and true way of doing things the same way every time. It's like an artist who does the same thing over and over. Like, at some point it doesn't really grow, or you don't really like doing it that way anymore. I feel like the Giraffe Spirit is saying, don't forget your spark, your creativity. Don't forget your passion, okay? Maybe some of you right now are like really focused on like what's practical, or what's necessary with the King of Pentacles. But I also just feel like Spirit is saying here, like, don't lose sight of your passion, your growth, the things that really turn you on, okay? And the Queen of Wands is definitely somebody who's like really turned on. I also feel like this Queen of Wands and King of Pentacles are not facing each other. And then we have it with the 7 of Pentacles. So to me, this is also talking about a relationship with two people who have very different goals, okay? And, you know, who didn't really communicate the best together. Perhaps there was an age difference in this connection as well too, which, you know, that's fine if you want to have one, but perhaps there was some misunderstandings, and, you know, perhaps you and this person are both decent people, but you just weren't good together. And, you know, perhaps it was difficult for this connection to grow in any kind of a like really epic way. With this 7 of Pentacles can definitely indicate where there's things that are holding us back that we don't know why, but it's just not working, okay? Or it's just not growing, or it's just not working. Like, we did our care, we tried to plant the right seeds, we tried to do the right things, but it just didn't, you know. I kind of feel like you and a person have a different destiny, pile number 3. Like, you and another person, you have a different destiny. There came to a point when you and this person, as much as maybe you tried to make the thing grow, or you tried to really commit to it, or give everything you had to it, it just wasn't growing. And the Giraffe Spirit is definitely about that sense of freedom and that excitement and that ability to grow and to have, you know, a lot of personal growth. The 7 of Pentacles is the Lord of Success Unfulfilled. So it's like, I failed at something, you know? And perhaps some of you are like blaming yourselves, or you're saying, I failed at this. And, you know, I just think that I feel like there's two sides to every story. You know what I'm saying, pile number 3? But I also just think that you've come a long way. And sometimes we learn the most through our failures. Sometimes we learn the most, and we gain so much wisdom and clarity from things that we tried to do that were very complicated, or perhaps we gave everything to, but at the end of the day didn't work, okay? But I also think after periods of sacrificing or doing things like this, there usually on the other side of that is like some burst of creativity or some burst of, you know, excitement that comes out of that. Even if it is like, you know, I fell on my face, or this didn't go the way I wanted to, or it wasn't what I planned. At the end of the day, after that passes, usually there is this, like I said, like this burst of life that comes out after that, okay? And I also feel like you guys being less concerned about what other people think about you, whether that's parents, whether that's whoever, teachers, etc. It's like, you know, yeah, it's great when other people recognize my efforts, but at the same time, I need to like stand up for myself, and I need to recognize myself and recognize my victories in life, okay? So that is what I am getting for you, my loves, in pile number 3. I hope that this reading resonated for you, pile number 3, and I hope it brought you the wisdom that you were seeking. Thank you so much to everyone, and thank you to all the piles. I hope you have a great day. Take care.